episode 195.
Get yourself a mentor, get yourself a coach, surround yourself with good people. You may make a few mistakes, but at least if you have those mentors and you have a coach, you won't make those mistakes on your own. You'll be quick to figure it out by the time that mistake happens. If I didn't have these people around me, I would have made the mistake and kept running with it. That would have been me.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hey, aftermarketers, you're listening to the Remarkable Results Radio podcast, and I'm Carm Capriato. You know this is the place where ideas, insights, and trends is served up twice a week. And today, I'm with Tatsu Tsuchida of Tokyo Automotive in episode 195. The episode is made possible through the sponsorship of Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Search for parts, get the latest technical updates, and sign up for the new Garage Rewards loyalty program at their all-new website, fmmotorparts.com. For additional bio information on Tatsu Tsuchida, see the show notes page, remarkableresults.biz/E195. Now, don't forget about our new Town Hall Live Industry Forum broadcast every Friday at 12 noon Eastern. Go to remarkableresults.biz/live and register once to be in the audience each Friday. Now, you can also watch the show on Facebook Live. Since we started in January 2017, the valuable content from my guests has gone beyond my expectations. Now, here's my suggestion when you watch the replays. Watch them like a documentary and learn like a seminar. Now meet Tatsu Tsuchida, VP of Operations at Tokyo Automotive in Placentia, California. A second-generation shop owner, Tatsu's story is one of transition. He admits that taking over the family business is not without its challenges. Many of our podcast entrepreneur interviews are about success achieved. Now this one with Tatsu is about his current journey. Now, there are many great insights from Tatsu as he shares so honestly with you what he is doing to meet his personal challenges and those of the business. He's smart. He knows what he needs to do to grow the great business his dad started 40 years ago. The interview goes into work ethic, his dad's phenomenal success through the years since he came to the U.S. with $500 in his pocket and he lost it. Tatsu speaks to the value of a business coach, mentors, his hobby as a snowboarder, and his trips to Japan every 2 years. This is a great interview for the podcast archives that will help many entrepreneurs to see the different pathways to success. Now here we go with Tatsu Tsuchida. A warm welcome to Tatsu Tsuchida from Tokyo Automotive. Hello, Tatsu.
Hello. How goes it?
It's great, thank you. How exciting. You know, I love to pay homage to dads. And, of course, your dad started the business. And you're thinking of maybe taking it over.
Oh, no, I'm definitely wanting to take it over. That's been a thought and a seed in my mind since I was a little kid. I just didn't know how that would come into fruition, what sort of responsibility that would be, nor did I have the work ethic, especially in my 20s when I was a ski bum. So,
ski bum, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Perfect. Hey, how did your dad start the business? So he comes over from Japan, right?
Yeah. He has little more, what equates to about $500 U.S. back then. I think the yen was about $300 to $1 back then. But yeah, he gets swindled out of it and then has to go work for somebody. His friends gave him a job, and it turned out to be a kind of a slave driver situation where he was working 8 to 12 and that kind of thing. His friends again came to the rescue, and back then, Toyota isn't the huge corporate structure that it used to be. You know, you can get a word in with the boss over at Toyota with just a few friends in between you. They heard about this guy that's, working basically like a sweatshop type situation, and they gave him a job at the dealership. From there, he works a couple years at Toyota. He works a couple years at Datsun, meets his partner at Datsun, and nights and weekends they would spend in the backyard of our house. That's way back in Gardena when they had the detached garage, right? they scrounge up enough money to buy themselves a facility in a park, and that's where Tokyo Auto started. One of our customers coined the term Tokyo Automotive because, Tokyo, obviously the capital city of Japan, and it just kind of clicked. So yeah, that name kind of stuck around.
It's just a great American, business startup story. He was entrepreneurial to even want to go out and start a business back then. Does your dad ever quit, stop, slow down, or has he just been driven his whole life?
He's been pretty much driven. He's still over here. I can see him over in the corner eating lunch, but yeah, the guy just doesn't stop. It's not in his nature to slow down at all.
I love what you said earlier about when you were in your 20s and you didn't have the work ethic. And, there's just not a whole lot of people that in their 20s that do. They're still burning the candle at 8, 9 ends. You were a snowboarder?
I was a snowboarder, yeah. So I did a season in Jackson Hole. I did a season in Mammoth. I did a season in Snoqualmie, Washington. So I would do all my student stuff in summer and in the fall semester, and then sometimes I would take a winter off, especially if it was a really good winter. So.
And did Dad ever just say to you, "Get a real job"? No.
I think he understood that I needed to sow my own wild oats, and quite frankly, I don't think I was much of a help to him at the time. But I still knew that in the back of my mind I needed to do this thing, and it wasn't by his forcing either. It was something that I very naturally fell into. He bought me this Honda Accord '94 back in the day. It was just like 2 years out of lease. And I just started putting so many go fast parts on it, and that's how I got the bug. I just loved just tinkering, and it's something that I kind of shied away from for a long time because obviously you don't like to do what Dad does. It's not cool anymore when you're a teenager. But now that the kind of the Fast and the Furious, that kind of whole era where the early 2000s. Was happening, and everybody had to have the fastest car on the block. I was out there just, buying an engine from Japan, put a Prelude motor into my Accord, made it really fast, made it really corner very well, and Honda Accord. Most people don't think it'll be fast, but it was incredibly fast. So
you never saw the fun side of working on cars until you started to tinker.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So those were fun days for you, huh?
Oh, yeah. And then just because I had my car so well done, it caught the attention of a lot of magazines. To this day, I still have a lot of friends in the car magazine world. It's helped me enormously. Certainly, I've done my share of trips to Japan where I bring my camera with me and I'll showcase a car that is tuned to the teeth, 800 horsepower Skyline or something like that, So it's a lot of fun.
How often do you go to Japan?
Every 2 years.
Okay.
So like I'll go with my family, and then I'll hit up all my magazine friends and say, hey, I'm going to Japan. Did you want me to get you some content? And so usually it takes a little bit of nudging, but generally because, I'm bilingual and I was brought up in Japanese and I did spend 3 years there. That's where I got my we can come back to this later, but that's where I got my work ethic, I think. But yeah, I would spend some time over there and probably hit up about 6 to 8 garages, and then I would have kind of a side gig for the next year and a half because I'd had so much content.
Let's talk about work ethic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. I mean, it's one of the most important things that an entrepreneur, a business owner can have, because when you're at the top and you're the boss, you don't necessarily have to, you don't have a boss.
Well, here's the thing, though. When you have a father that has done well for themselves, you don't have the will or the want. You just want to have fun. And certainly I did have my share of it in my 20s, but it really took for me to go to Japan to figure that out, my work ethic. I've never seen a people so customer service oriented. They want to get everything right for you. And quite literally, it kicked my ass when I was over there because I would be working from kind of a same origin story, similar to my dad's origin story, is I would be working from 8 to 10 to 12, and until the job was done, you're not going home. And common practice, you don't report overtime. That's the culture over there. You work your ass off. So
explain that to me, though. I'm confused. You went to Japan. Did you actually get a job while you were there?
I was teaching English. That's the easy gig. The other gig that I had was I was breaking down cars, throwing them in containers, and then sending them overseas.
Oh, and selling them here?
Kazakhstan, USA, Canada, any multitude of places that would want a used Japanese front clip. And we cut the cars in half, or we break it down even further and just send the engines.
A busy guy.
It was busy.
Brake jobs are a staple component of all successful shops, and getting the brake job right helps build a quality reputation for any shop. When the best is called for and stopping distance, rotor wear, and pad life are important to every shop and its customers, Wagner OEX brake pads are your only choice. Based on benchmark testing conducted by Link Engineering Company, Wagner OEX pads can stop a pickup, SUV, or CUV up to 50 feet sooner. Based on internal testing comparing new Wagner OEX to other Wagner offerings, the unique design of Wagner OEX increases pad life up to 2 times longer. The customized shape and slot design of each of the more than 114 SKUs creates a turbulent airflow that allows for cooler operation and improved stopping power for the vehicle on which it was designed. Wagner OEX cover 95% of the U.S. market of pickups, SUVs, and CUVs. Wagner has the science behind stopping perfected. They conduct 13,000 critical tests each year, and as of today, have 258 issued patents with 68 patents pending. Wagner has earned their stripes. Now they want to earn yours. Install Wagner OEX, the customized brake pad that can stop your customer's truck up to 50 feet sooner. So tell me about the shop, Dad's company, your company, the profile of your technicians you have working for you.
Dad was in Japan. It's called EQ, and it's kind of a ranking system of mechanics. And he was he's I wouldn't say necessarily a master tech, but pretty darn close to it. He could pretty much do everything. He just didn't happen to test for that last. So that's Dad. Although his skill set is a little bit outdated for the computer age, he still understands things well enough to where he can manage everybody. I have him more in a shop foreman kind of role right now. He sits in the back, reads a newspaper. Sometimes he still gets on a car, but for the most part, he's there dispensing advice and kind of looking at what people are doing.
It sounds like a great role for your dad.
And well, he doesn't understand computers, so he can't do the invoicing anymore. Ever since I took over the office, so yeah. So and it's a difficult task for him. He's never one to slow down. So I gotta say, hey, Dad, let them do it, let them learn it, or else you're never going to retire. Or if you pass away, what's going to happen? They're not going to know what to do. So I keep telling Dad, I said, just give them a few pointers, give them a few ideas as to how it's done, and then let them run with it. And that's what I had to continually tell Dad to do.
I think when we talked on our pre-call, you said that your technicians are all motorheads.
Yeah. Tuner guys just like me, albeit 10 years younger than I am, but they all have that bug too. So all of them have some sort of a wild car setup. One of them has a WRX with some go fast parts on it. I have another technician with a FRS that has about 600 horsepower. Even the service writer, the gal that sits up front, she has a 240SX with a Supra motor in it.
So these guys are in it.
Oh yeah, they love it.
And they love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We said the same word at the same time. What kind of changes are you going to bring to the business over time? I mean, I know you're not going to go out and say, here, Dad, we're doing all these things, but will you ever change the model of the shop? I mean, I know you're just working on Asian.
Yeah, just primarily Asian. I don't. If a guy off the street comes in and says, "Well, Chevy C10 or whatever American car that they might bring me," I usually say no, unless the customer that I already have happens to have a Chevy or a Ford. I might work on that a bit, but generally speaking, I'm not going to take one off the street.
Do you keep any of the computer diagnostic tools for anything but Toyota? I should have said Asian.
I have a general scan tool that Snap-on does a really good job of doing a pretty full coverage of everything through their. I think it's a Modus 2 that I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Modus. I don't know I don't know what version of Modus it is. It's the latest version. I can pretty much take care of almost anything. I don't domestic. I don't touch European at all. So,
Tatsu, where are your technicians getting their training?
I try to get them to go to the World Pack thing.
The key word there was try.
Yeah.
Any requirements during the year for them to take so many hours?
I ask them all the time. Part of the problem is if World Pack, if you're listening, they don't put out that many Japanese stuff.
They're not falling behind, are they?
They're not.
Okay.
Yeah, at least once a year they're getting something, but I'd like to see them get quarterly. That's my goal.
Do you have a service advisor?
I do have a service advisor.
Any kind of training going on for that person?
I do send them to the Cecil classes. She's been to the Service Advisor Academy, and she came back on fire, basically. Yeah.
Isn't that great to see?
Yeah. Like I said, she was an old car buddy of mine. We were at Cypress College where they have the T10 program there, and she's a gal that loves cars, but she can pretty much climb into any car just like the guys do and not care about whether her nails get dirty or nothing like that. So any of the stereotypes that apply to women in the field, they don't really apply to her because she just dives right in with everybody else. So
a lot of entrepreneurs that have been on the show say that when they put a female service advisor on the counter, it really changed the dynamic of their business. How about for you?
It did. I think it might be just like something that's natural to women. I don't know. But the compassion, the feeling that people can trust her. It definitely changed that aspect of it.
Have you moved the shop into digital vehicle inspections yet?
I have not yet. No, I have paper.
You have paper, and are you doing anything at all by saying a timeline? Hey, within a year or two, we've got to move to that.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm kind of seeing what the field has to offer. I'm kind of going by what Cecil says, and certainly my mentors, my guys in the field, the other shops that that all go to see Cecil, we all talk about it and say, hey, well, is this good for you? Is this not? What a great thing to have is just I have 48, 50, 60 garages around the United States, and we all have the same issues and problems and challenges every day, and some of them have moved to digitizing it. Some of them haven't. I'm not headfirst into going into that just yet. I need to fix other things that are more pertinent than that. So
like what?
More profitability.
All right, that's a great answer.
I had a tough 2016. I can certainly attribute it to a service writer that wasn't all that great. He's a good kid, but he just needed a mentor, and I wasn't that mentor.
You've always counted on Moog to keep you ahead of the pack when it comes to chassis innovation. Well, they've done it again. Most recently launched is the Moog ball joint with a pre-installed integral dust boot. It's designed exclusively for compression-loaded suspension systems, providing superior strength and durability for these types of vehicle applications. The dust boot is made from higher strength materials and comes pre-installed, saving you time because it's easier to install. It also has a larger contact area against the stud, which makes a more effective seal. For your customers, the unit uses Moog's powdered metal gusher bearing that provides longer life and controlled radial and axial movement. You get the industry's leading coverage of 10,000 SKUs, including 4,600 for foreign applications. Hey, you've been installing Moog confidently for years, and now you know why. Now, you have a mentor yourself.
I have a few mentors.
You have a few, and one of them is a former podcast guest.
Yeah.
Without putting him on the spot, do you want to say who it is?
Hi, Ron. Ron from CMW. So he's literally about 20, 30 minutes south of me. He's in Huntington Beach. I'm in Placentia. We're in the same Orange County. So
episode 101, Ron and Chosti.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good guy, great episode, smart guy. I'm sure it sounds like you guys are extremely compatible together. Hey, so Tatsu, where are you getting your big ideas?
My big ideas come from things that I've tried, things, again, my mentors. Like just recently I had a food truck here at the shop. So food truck has incredibly democratized the whole scene of restaurants. The cool thing is I get the eyeballs of the customers that are lining up in front of the shop. So
how did you do that? I'm curious. Did you have a promotion, or did you just park the truck out front?
I called them up and said, I like your food. Do you have a reasonably big following? And I'd like to do some cross promotion with you. And it was completely up to them to bring those people to my shop.
Did you invite any of your customers to stop by because the truck was there? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
so
I was grabbing people from the Chamber of Commerce. I was emailing all my customers, texting a few of my favorite customers, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I love it. I wrote a blog on that about a year ago, and I'm glad to hear that you not that you read it and did anything with it, but it was an idea that hit me while I was out and about at a conference, and I saw a dozen food trucks, and I said, it's got to be good to put one on a property. Hey, are you hard on yourself?
Yeah, I'm hard on myself. I'm one of these people that is awkwardly difficult on myself. I'm difficult on my guys. In fact, I just had a lunch with Ron and Chosti, and he was saying, you are just like an A-type personality, or you need to learn how to be a jerk but not be a jerk. You know what I mean? Like if I do too much of you got to do this, you got to do that. Like traditional Japanese household, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that and this wrong, right? That's my personality. That's who I am. That's how I was brought up. The book Crucial Confrontations. Ron goes, you got to read that again. Seriously, you browbeat your guys. So yeah, I'm hard on myself just as much as I'm hard on my guys, but I got to learn how to be more encouraging and say it in a way that I'm not an asshole. So
I got it. Sometimes those are the toughest personality traits to overcome.
Yeah.
It's almost like find a filter.
Yeah, exactly. So like the way I used to run the meetings is just a list of everything that's been going wrong for the week. And I got to stop doing that. I just, instead of doing that, maybe I should be like, grab the guy when he does something wrong and say, hey, how could we have done that better? And instead of like coming up with that list and just holding that frustration in, I really need to go a step up to the guys and say, hey, well, is there something you could have done better there at the moment that it happens instead of waiting a week for it to, yeah. Two things come
to my mind. Number one is find the find the list of the good things that happened during the week.
Yeah.
And concentrate on the positive.
Yeah.
And then we just did in fact, we're releasing an episode called The Potential of Potential. And interesting play on words, but one of the big themes that came out of it, and by the time your episode's coming out, it will have already hit the airwaves. It talks about bringing people into a culture that they can fail.
Yeah.
And learn from it. And, I guess what you're saying is you may be browbeating a little too much and not have created that kind of atmosphere. But, the great thing I love about what you just said, you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're in denial that I'm not like that. You know what you have to do to be a better leader.
After that lunch with Ron, I basically sat my guys down and said, hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You guys are it. I've never had a crew this great before. And I said, hey, I might not show it that way, but I love you guys. I'm sorry if I come off like an asshole, but that's how I was brought up. And kind of what I already just said about 2 minutes ago, but they responded in the positive. So next week I'm going to take my snowboard to go up to Utah and throw it in the back of my Prius, put some snow tires on, and I'm going to listen to Crucial Conversations again on the way up. So
you're going to have your own intervention.
Exactly.
I'm going to a retreat with me, myself, and I.
2 days with Cecil, a couple days snowboarding, and a soundtrack to go up to the mountains with.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Now, you keep mentioning Cecil as your business coach. Has that been an important part of your business strategy? Yeah,
very much so. And I've changed a lot of my ways that I do business, and sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the best. Because I'm one of those guys that takes one piece of advice and just like grabs it. And it's last year it was I took that piece of advice from Cecil that says, "Hey, you're worth more. You as a mechanic deserve more. Your shop deserves more." And I held on to that, and ran with it, but taking only one piece of advice and kind of forgetting the other stuff, it's the analogy of the bar stool with the three legs. You got to have some sort of balance. So part of the reason why I had a bad 2016 is I got a little bit too greedy, quite honestly. But greedy is not bad if it's balanced with good customer service, any multitude of the things that those so-called golden nuggets that a coach will give you. My advice would be not to take just one and run with it. Take a more holistic approach to what they're telling you.
So an implementation strategy that is really multi-pronged.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you find yourself putting responsibility timelines on things? Listen, I know we got to do this in the company. I need to do this by the end of March. Do you do that, or just write them down and hope to get them?
I'm still kind of willy-nilly about stuff. I'm not as – that's probably one place that I can certainly become more anal retentive, I suppose you could say the word is.
No, how about the word disciplined? Disciplined,
exactly. That works. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, instead of just kind of letting things go the way they should, I should create that timeline, express it to my guys in a way that won't offend them. Yeah.
I remember speaking to a guy who says, "Hey, it's up on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
I know it. They know it. I've got a timeline. They know where we're taking the business."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your second generation family, what is the next generation of repair shops going to look like?
Next generation of repair, you got automated cars. You got right now we got 20 different computers on any given car right now. It's only going to double or triple. As long as we keep up with that, I think we'll survive, and not only survive, do better. There's too many garages out there in the world right now run by people with barely a high school education or, recent immigrants. And I have no racist thing at all whatsoever, but recent immigrants from another country that barely feed themselves and barely pay the rent. And with that kind of a business model, you're never going to have education. So, and I'm not knocking those garages because I was one of them. So,
yeah. Will they survive? Will they survive into the future?
Some may. A lot of them won't. I'm pretty sure they won't. So I consider them perhaps the bottom rung. The ones that are willing to step up, they're gonna have to change the same way we did. The people that are doing head gaskets on a Subaru for $1,300, they're not thinking about the college education of their kids, the welfare of their employees. They're only looking at it from the standpoint of, how can I beat everybody via price? And fine if you're attracted to that, but they're not going to last very long. They just can't, financially speaking.
Yeah, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the next meal, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself next 3 to 5 years?
I hope to be making 20% net, like Cecil says. I don't know if I will, but certainly I'm still very much the student, and not necessarily a master. And I think part of the reason why I got your attention is because I am very much the student, and we wanted to talk about mentors and people who aren't exactly perfect yet. And I've seen in your show plenty of people who are perfect right now, and I'm not saying perfect, but perfect from my eyes, right? And mentors, oh my God, get yourselves people around you that are like-minded, and not necessarily like-minded in the sense that group thinking that could bring you down, but people who are looking to go up and up and up, and what's the next step? Because no matter how far you look down, no matter how far you look up, you're going to have, there's an infinite amount of people above you and there's an infinite amount of people below you.
Yeah, I always I've heard that story. You never want to be the smartest kid in the room either.
No.
And I love that you're a student and continuing to learn. That makes you very humble. And I just love some of the qualities that you have. As much as, you may be hard on yourself and your people, and you're looking for that balance, you also have that humbleness to say, I'm not the smartest kid in the room and I need to learn every day. And so you just mentioned a few minutes ago, you're not perfect. Now, when you think that you're almost perfect, will you come back on the show?
Yes, I will. And maybe 3 to 5 years from now, you'll see me in a very, very different situation.
Yeah, and you're right. The reason I was interested in you is because you are in a growth mode, in a learning mode, in a change mode, and I thought it would be so great. I mean, I have to say you've been so straight up and honest with our listener. Thank you so much for that.
Sometimes too honest. Were you going to talk about this?
Absolutely, we're going to talk about that. In fact, we're going to talk about it right now.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and tell the story. What Tatsu just lifted up was a book with a Japanese cover on it that he bought for his dad. Yeah. And tell our listeners what the name of the book is.
So, Carm, last 2 weeks ago, you gave me a call, and we were talking about books that inspire me, books that I've been reading. I say, you know what? You said there's books in different languages. You know that, right? I'm like, wait, I never thought to think that E-Myth might be in Japanese. So you start typing away on your computer. I start typing away on my computer. I can hear it in the background. And we find you didn't find it, but I found it, and you inspired me to find it. I found E-Myth in Japanese. Dad's about that way through. You could see the bookmark.
Wow.
He ate it up.
Wow.
Yeah, he's only had it for about 3 days. So
Tatsu sent me a text or I have a picture and it says, look, I found the book. I've given it to Dad. And it was just in the last 2 or 3 days. What a great story. Here we're sharing ideas of, inspirational stories. And, of course, the E-Myth. And where I was going with you is that Michael Gerber just wrote Beyond the E-Myth.
Still not available in Japanese. But.
Right. And so, yeah, that's right. You said to me, well, if it's not available in Japanese, let me at least go get, one of the original books. So your dad's eating it up.
Yeah.
So is he going to – have you read it?
I've read most of it. I'm a slow reader. Dad's evidently a very fast reader.
Well, he may have more time than you.
That's true.
Well, good. I'd love to hear the story if your dad just gets done with the book and he looks at you and he says, wow, so there's I made some mistakes, but maybe it's time that we make some shifts and some changes in how we're doing business. I'd love to hear that.
Well, he's been kind of fighting me tooth and nail about things because he's just not used to it. That's the way that it was done 30, 40 years ago was, you do a good job. And he's a quiet guy. He doesn't understand English very well. He got business because he was sincere. He got business because he was honest. He worked his ass off. That's how he got his customers. And in that era when he was the only Japanese car specialist in Orange County, that was easy probably. I'm not saying it was easy in what he did, but it was easier in that era to get that type of customer. But nowadays, there's so many garages out there that you can't. You got to get your name out there. And people, what was it? The estimate? People see about 2,000, 3,000 ads per day. Via billboards, via TV and whatnot. Unless you're screaming at the top of your lungs on top of your roof of your shop every day, that's your job. You have to be continually marketing.
I love where this interview went. Thank you for being so honest, sharing Dad's story and your family business with us.
Thank you.
So give me some great words of wisdom to live by.
I said it earlier. Get yourself a mentor. Get yourself a coach. Surround yourself with good people. You may make a few mistakes, but at least if you have those mentors and you have a coach, you won't make those mistakes on your own. You'll be quick to figure it out by the time that mistake happens. If I didn't have these people around me, I would have made the mistake and kept running with it. That would have been me. So.
And that's a crime there.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Tatsu Tsuchida from Tokyo Automotive, for being on the show.
I appreciate you. I listen to you all the time.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Hey, Aftermarketers, thanks for joining us. Another great interview for the archives from Tatsu Tsuchida. Get the top episode takeaways on the show notes page. Go to remarkableresults.biz/E195. Listen, I'm a person who links people that need and want knowledge in a way that's easy to digest in their day-to-day life. And that's why you are here. Hey, don't forget about my social follows, the free smartphone app, and the Friday Town Hall Live single subject forum. Now go to remarkableresults.biz/live for all the details so you can join in. Hey, share this content-rich resource with your friend. There's a lot to go around. It's easy. Email the episode link, share my Facebook page, Twitter account, or my LinkedIn connection. The richness grows because you help ripple the water. Hey, I'm grateful and thankful for your support. Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from another inspiring aftermarket professional. Until next time.